Good evening, everybody. Today is a bit of a somber day, not because of what's going on here, but actually what's going on in England. Um, as some of you may know already, if you watch the news or if you've had people who are over in England or part of the UK notify you because you're connected to them somehow. But Queen Elizabeth has passed away at the age of 96. 70 years of being the monarch of the Great Britain and the UK. This woman has not only suffered losses of family members and friends throughout her life, but it's my speculation that when her husband passed, because of their strong love for each other, their strong ties, um, her heart was broken and she just couldn't be without him. True love, you know, a love deeper than most of us can fully understand, or anything of that nature. So I feel sorry for the people of the UK for their loss. I also am concerned about their future because of the princes. I don't know which one is which. All I know is whoever is had been crowned or dubbed the Prince of Wales is supposed to be the next upcoming monarch, unless Parliament decides otherwise. So it's going to be interesting to see the outcome of what's happening in the UK. I am pretty sure there's going to be at least a week worth of funeral procession and mourning and getting, letting the people get over. I don't want to say get over, but letting the people mourn their queen, and then having Parliament make their decisions on who they're crowning as the new monarch of the UK. I know I'm going to be interested because of a lot. It's not the world revolves around the UK because that's far from it, but a lot of what happens in the UK kind of influences what happens around the world. So it's going to be interesting to see all that evolve or unravel or however you want to put it. But that's just me. Some people won't. Some people here in America probably could care less. Other people do because, like I said, the UK has been a very big influencer on the world. I would really like to see what President Biden and other members of the UN do or react or say speeches, whatnot. So it's going to be one of those interesting weeks, month or so coming up. Excuse me, my chin itches. Oh, there's a scab or something there. Stop picking. But anyhow, let's step back to, yeah, I don't know what to call it anymore. My journey. The only thing I can say. I've noticed a lot of, a lot of people who've made comments since, was it yesterday or Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. I'd have to go back and look at my timelines. I put out there, especially on Facebook, and then I addressed it here about my beliefs. Now, maybe I should have not used the whole pagan thing as a jumping point, because a lot of people, well, let's just put it this way. A lot of people had their blinders on and just only saw certain bits and pieces of my video, or they only listened to certain parts and just jumped the gun and did not listen to the whole thing. The question was put out that, okay, if I'm calling myself a pagan, does that mean I'm worshiping other deities? No, not worshiping other deities in the sense of actually worshiping them. I acknowledge their place in the Nordic belief system, or the old school Nordic belief system, because most of Norway is Christian in the sense of they believe in the triune God, God, Jesus, and God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But they also keep to their traditions and honor their ancestors and what they were and what they believed in their traditional old school holidays. But they don't worship Thor or Heimdall or Odin or Loki or Freya and Frigga, or Tyr, or any of the deities of the old ways. They honor their ancestors with their traditional holidays and however you want to put it. That's me. I will constantly be a non-practicing Christian, but I will not call myself a Christian because I don't belong to any church or any denomination. I belong to the Bible. I belong to the words of Christ. I belong to the teachings of Christ, not a church, not an organization, not an affiliation, no labels. Just like God had no labels. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the Old Testament, anytime anybody tried to name God or ask what his name is, his answer was always, I am who I am. The Jewish community called him Yahweh. Most Christians just use the word God. If you look at it at that way, in that sense, even if you look at the sense of the triune God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, 3 in 1. I believe one of the biggest problems with Christianity is the lack of full knowledge. What I mean by that is, over time, from translating the Bible from its original languages, which was Aramaic, which is a dead language, Hebrew, which is still a living language, and Latin. And Latin is becoming so old and so unused that if you were to try to translate the original Latin to English, it would be a real pain in the butt. Just put it that way. That, and a lot of theologians believe that when the Bible was translated from its original language by the Roman Catholic Church, the church removed pieces of information because they were afraid that if the general populace knew about these pieces of information, that they would lose utter control of Rome. It was bad enough they were battling, trying to keep the Christians happy while trying to keep the pagans happy, and combining paganism to Christianity. So that's when you got the saints, you've got the different religious celebrations changed around or borrowed some information from the pagans, took information to Christians, mixed it all up, and said, there's our holidays. There's our modern day holidays. Just like when King James, and I don't know if it was King James the third or the fourth, but one of the different King Jameses who was in control of England at the time wanted to break away from the Holy Roman Church because they felt, oh, well, you're way over there. We're here. We're a different type of people, blah, blah, blah. Let's translate the Holy Roman Church's Latin Bible into English. And again, doing that because of the differences in language and punctuations and sentences and pronouns, all that kind of information. And then the King of England going, oh, yeah, we need to remove that, and that, because I don't want my people to read that and go bonkers. So now we have, like, King James, the American, the New American Edition, the New International Edition. You got 6 or 7 different types of editions of what the Bible says to us. Now we can pick and choose the Bible we read. Like, do I want to read King James? I don't know. All this thee, thou, thus, that's confusing as all get out. So my choices are the American the American Standard Bible, or we've got the New International Version, or we got the New King James Version, which translates the thee, thou, and thus. I don't know which one fits my desired reading. There's a lot of things about modern day Christianity that does not fit in the Bible, does not really work with the Bible. I mean, there are so many people out there, and I'm gonna call them out. The bakery is the biggest one. Bakery is this big gossip place to go gossip and make fun of other people, yet they want to say that they're Christian. Well, according to the Bible, we're not supposed to judge each other, yet you're going to sit there in a website judging and making fun of other people just because of their looks or something they don't like about another person. And it's not just about me and my wife. There's a whole slew of other people they make fun of or judge or whatever. All that is against the Bible. All that is against the Bible I read. All that is against the Bible I was taught to believe in. I wasn't taught to believe in a church because I've been to so many different types of churches that I began to question, why does that church teach differently than that church? Why does that group react to the Bible differently than this group? Why does it seem like, excuse me, don't take it as bashing, but why does it seem like the Catholic Church has more rules and regulations and relics and different ways of using the rosary, all that stuff? That and the Catholic Church is the only church that I know that has more images of various saints. There were no saints. There are apostles. And there's 2 types of apostles. The apostles with a capital A, which were the original apostles that followed Jesus all over the Mediterranean. Then you have the newer apostles, lowercase. And those are the people who want to do God's good works and have been accepted by various churches as apostles. It don't make no sense to me. What makes sense to me is what's in the Bible. Not what the Catholics have done, not what the Latter-day Saints have done, not what the Baptists have done, or the Pentecostals, or the Presbyterians, or the Lutheran. All those are labels. What happens to labels? They get dirty. They get wet. They get messed up. They fall off. Man upstairs don't see no dang labels. Just like, oh, he's white or Caucasian. He's black or African American. He's Asiatic. He's from India. He's from Europe somewhere. That person is from South America or Central America. Those are labels. God don't see those. God don't care about those. No. Catholic Church, the current Pope, he's ruled out a lot of different labels. Gays and lesbians are now accepted. Yet the Bible, I'm going to point this out, and I'm not bashing, I'm just pointing something out. And I really don't care, because one of my wife's, no, I'm not going to talk about them. There are many couple out there that are same sex. They're happy with each other. They're in love with each other. That's fine and dandy. That's women. I'm not going to bash, though, because I know plenty of guys who are the same way. Even though the Bible clearly states, a man shall not lay with a man as he lays with a woman. My view, and it's the same view as I have with everybody. As long as these people, whether it's same sex, whether it's true full-blooded pagans, whether it's Hindi, Taoists, don't matter. Everything that we see today, everything that goes on around us today, whether it's, ooh, you're a pagan, you're going to hell. Do we know that? Do we truly, utterly know that? You're a gay or a lesbian. Ew, you're going to hell. Do we know that? Are we sure about that? Just like the pagans go, ooh, you're Christian. Our gods don't like you. We should just cut you down where you are. We don't do that no more. That's old school stuff that used to happen in the early 7th century to 11th century. And it wasn't just because the Christians came in and forced everybody to convert to whatever religion they were trying to push. No. Simply, Bible states, whether you're a sinner or not, if you know you're a sinner and you ask for forgiveness, whatever way your custom suggests you ask for forgiveness. If you're good-hearted and you're a loving person and your heart is full of love and you treated everybody with respect and dignity and love, you're accepted. You're accepted as a Christian. You're accepted by God and Jesus. I've said it once before, I'll say it again. During his time, Jesus sat with the worst of his time. The murderer, the thief, the harlot, and the tax collector. He sat with him and broke bread, which means he had a meal. He had breakfast, lunch, or dinner with these people and sat there and talked to them with dignity and respect. No sarcasm, no putting people down, no forcing them to follow him. Nothing like we do today. Nothing like they used to do in the Crusades. Nothing like Charlemagne did to the Norsemen. He didn't force you to choose. You have the right, by his own words, to choose for yourself how you live, what you believe in, how you conducted yourself. But it was how you conducted yourself that mattered the most. Cardinal rule: love thy neighbor as you love thyself. That's a cardinal rule throughout Christendom. It's a cardinal rule throughout the Bible. It is our God-given choice to do as we choose, as long as we do it in love. Now, I'll say this much. My choice to have my own feelings towards a religion, whether it's half of this and half of that, Jesus says, if you love one another, if you treat each other with dignity and respect, no judgment, no belittling, no no slander, no judgment, no creating stories about other people. Everything that I have seen on the Gospel Bakery is against the Bible. They're judgmental. They're belittling. That's against the Bible. Yet they want to sit there and go, oh yeah, we're Christians and we're full of love. Really? Your very words on your website say otherwise. Yeah. And yet they want to call me the sinner. I know I'm the sinner. I know I'm sinning. My life is a sin. You know why I say my life is a sin? Because I'm not following Christ the way people want me to. But the thing is, my sins are negated, are washed away because of my love for Jesus. As I said to somebody earlier, what if what I'm doing is exactly what God wants me to do right now? You know why? Simple. One of the biggest things that I will tell you that I believe was put in the Bible but removed by a church of one form or another. It says simply in the Bible, when there's one or more coming together in his name, he is there. That's your church. Not a building, not a group of people trying to tell you what you can and cannot do, not a bunch of people trying to, bribe you or whatever into giving money to them. The apostles, they didn't go around saying, give us money. No. They took whatever was given to them generously, humbly, and with love. And they turned around and used that for what they needed, and whatever was left over went back to the people. Why? One, they didn't have a church to maintain. Jesus was their church. Church in Old Testament times was not Old Testament time, but first century Christian church, which was established by Jesus and by the apostles. There is no politics. There is no financial, woes. There was no need for financial woes. Why do we have to go to a nicely designed building with a cross on the steeple? Listen to somebody give a sermon, sing hymn songs, and then turn around and give our money. Modern day churches just don't give back to those who are in need according to the Bible. Widows, orphans, the sick, the hungry, those who need shelter, those who need help by, giving clothes to them. I don't remember if it's in the Bible or where I heard it. Probably at other Christian college, if not someplace else. That was of a Christian establishment. A worthy Christian establishment. I was told a story once where Jesus and the disciples were traveling to one of their different locations. They traveled all over the Med, all over, what we call the Holy Land nowadays. Jerusalem, throughout Israel, wherever. Even into areas that most Christians wouldn't go because a lot of people in those areas didn't like Christians. But the story goes that when he got to his destination with his disciples, outside of the town were people who were forced to live outside town because of a sickness or an illness, or it was that time of the month for a woman. Jesus came across a man who was not only crippled, but covered with pustules and lumps, and just was considered by the Israeli or the Jewish synagogue as being unclean. Nobody wanted to help him. Everybody just passed him by. Every so often, somebody would throw some crumbs for bread, or some bread or whatever crumbs into his little bowl that he had there, hoping people would help him out somehow. The apostles had nothing to give him. Jesus literally took off his robe, just his robe, and laid it over the man and said, "By the power of my Father, you are healed. Get up. Go about your life." Instantly, the man had clear skin. He might have looked a little weak and skinny, but he did not look like, he had the plague or something. The man wept in the arms of Jesus because for 20 years, nobody paid him a single bit of attention. Barely gave him scraps to survive off of. That's the love we're supposed to have for others. No matter what their condition is, no matter what their issues are, no matter what they look like, no matter what skin tone they are, no matter what other religion they may be, we are supposed to give our fellow man, not knowing jack squat about that person, we're supposed to give them what we can to help them, our love. We're not supposed to sit there and go, "Oh, look at him. He got a bad haircut. Oh, look at him. He's got broken teeth. Oh, look at him. He's got a speech problem." No. Not a single utter comment of that kind should be coming out of our mouth, let alone across our mind. To live like Jesus means to love unconditionally and constantly. Now, I can say that because I have a hard time living like that yeah, I'm a sinner. He never told any of the apostles that they could not read or learn about anything or everything that the world has to offer. But he does say, guard your heart. Keep your feet deep rooted in the salvation of Christ. I am 51, or 50. I wish I was, I'll be 51 in October. I have been all over this country. I've been to Germany. I was born in the Philippines. I've seen the ways of other people. And if I were to pick a group of people, either here in America or overseas, that reminded me of what Jesus is supposed to be like, I would have to say, out of all the places I've been, would be Germany. The reason why is because the German people are very friendly, very understanding, very open, very giving. They know if it wasn't for men and women from this country to go over there and free them from the control of Nazism, which was not a German ideal. It was an ideal of Hitler and his party, and they were not Germans, they were Austrians. Yes. I remember in Germany walking through the little village of Altley that we lived in for 2 different years out of the 3 years we were there, and how friendly the people were and how nice the people were. And they were fun people as well. A lot of people go, oh, Germans don't have a sense of humor. Yes, they do. It's a dry sense of humor. It's a weird sense of humor, but they've got their sense of humor. But one of the times when I was walking through LA, I was walking down a back street I'd never been to. And I found that it led from the house that we lived in on top of the hill right before you get into town. It goes directly through the main section of town. Well, Saturday morning, Grandma was sweeping the driveway. Most people here in America don't think about the driveway. Let nature take care of the driveway. Unless the driveway is broken or it's got too many weeds cropping up, or, it's wintertime and it needs to be de-iced. Most of us don't think about sweeping the driveway on a Saturday morning. She was. Now, as I was walking down, and I was trying to pay attention to my footing because I was going a downhill incline. The next thing I know, before realizing she was doing what she was doing, I heard a sweet little old voice going, Guten Tag, German for good morning, or good day. Actually, it means good day. If it was Guten Morgen, that would be morning. And I looked up and I realized she was talking to me. I just smiled and waved and repeated the phrase, Guten Morgen, Guten Tag, whatever it was. And she offered me up fresh baked cookies. It wasn't a holiday, it was in the middle of summertime, and my brain is going, who makes fresh baked cookies in the middle of summer? Now, granted, where we live in Germany, middle of summertime, if it got above 80, it was like, get your suntan lotion on and go to the beach. Even though Germany didn't really, well, it does have a beach, but it's like towards Norway in very cold water, from what I understand. But I was just like, okay. She's offering me up cookies. Now, I was taught not to be rude. So I took the cookies. I took 2 of them, even though she was like, take as much as you want. And I said, Danke, which basically means thank you. Or if you wanted to go even deeper, in proper German, it would be Danke schön, which is thank you very much. She smiled, waved, and let me walk on, continue on my way as I'm munching on cookies. That was something I was not accustomed to because I never saw it in America, even when we were living in Arkansas when I was younger. It amazed me. I come home and I'm remembering all the things of Germany and I'm going, Jesus, why has America gotten so upside down, backwards, and just twisted? Just, it's like, why can't we be like the Germans? Why can't we be like Europeans where we took care of our property properly? And I'm guilty of not taking care of mine because, I got raccoons and I get tired of picking up after them. But my point is, that little woman showed me an example of what a Christian, God-fearing person should be like. Here in America, we're so paranoid about our neighbor being a serial killer or whatever that we're not willing to say, oh, we've got new neighbors. Let's bake up some cookies or a cake or something and offer it to them as a, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. We don't know what kind of people our neighbors are, but why does it matter? If we truly love and fear God, we would not be afraid of our fellow man, because we would realize, okay, we don't know who they are, but we want to be polite and cordial and say, welcome to the neighborhood. And if that simple gesture causes a gunshot, and I die, I'm going to say, hey, I did my best to be a good neighbor. I know exactly where I feel like I'm going. A lot of people might say, no, you're not going there because you don't believe in Jesus. No, I do believe in Jesus. I am still the person you guys knew before I decided to announce that I am also into paganism. Now, I'm not a practitioner, but I read the materials. Why do I read the materials? Because it's part of my heritage. Let's say I grew up in Norway. Now, I know a good bit about Norway because I've been studying Norway and their customs and their way of life and whatnot. And I know right now, because I was not born and raised there, that I would have a hard time going there to live because they have certain criteria for you to be a citizen of the country. But let's say I did come from Norway. I was born and raised in Norway. And my father was American, but my mother was Norwegian. And he moved up there and stayed with her and her family and learned to be a Norwegian and learned the customs and had a good job. But I came to the States for, like, let's say college. Like, I'm a college student. So I came to the States for college. Or I came back to the States because of, my American half. Wanted to know my American family better. I can tell you these three things. One, there would be a culture shock because of the culture of America is very blasé. In other words, they don't care. Most Americans do not care about the other people around you. And and I've seen this in America. If you're a foreigner from America, unless you're coming over here as, let's say, a foreign exchange student, you're coming over here as a college student, you don't have other Norwegian kids with you. And if you don't sound like a full-blown American and speaking proper American, you're going to get picked on, looked down upon, made fun of, whatever. Until you did something to cause the American people who are basically making fun of you or picking on you to go, okay, this guy can do something that we don't know how to deal with. A lot of people, as soon as you do something that is out of the norm, kind of go, yeah, I don't think that's right, and what he just did is beyond me, and I'm just going to leave him alone. But the thing is, the certain holidays and customs in Norway, which we do not follow here in America, would be like, oh, but it's that time of year. This is what we do in Norway. We throw this feast, or we honor our ancestors with this celebration and this, that, or other thing. Americans are going to go, are you a Christian? Because that just does not look like Christian activity or behavior. Yes, I was born and raised a Christian. But this is to honor my ancestors. This is to honor our past, my country. What are we going to do as Americans? Or we're going to sit there and go, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and honor your ancestors. Or, as I've seen most people say, well, that's not American, so we don't do it here, and we're not going to let you do it. I thought America was the land of the free, where we could basically be whoever we wanted to be. Yet, I'm seeing just from you're all, not everybody's, but a lot of people's reaction to what I've been saying as a believer in the Norse pagan system, but not a practitioner, that, oh, well, you're going to hell because you don't follow Jesus, blah, blah, blah. I'm no different than I was a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. The only difference from then and now is because I've been encouraged by friends to just openly say, hey, this is what I believe in. If people can't accept it, well, that's not my problem. That's your problem. And, okay, you may think you have the right to rebuke me or tell me that I'm wrong when, one, nobody truly knows what's going to happen after we pass away. Nobody truly knows what's going to happen to our immortal souls when we pass away. Yes, we have the Bible to say, okay, this is what could happen. Okay. There's probably a lot of people like me where it's like, I'm a very visual person. Which basically means if I cannot visually see it, touch it, smell it, taste it, or my mind cannot conjure an image or anything like that that will make me go, oh, that's right. But the thing is, the Bible, the Havanah, the Quran, any religious text that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation and rewritten at least half a dozen times by man. How do we know what's real and what's not real? Okay? I can sit there and go, oh, this is liquid. It's supposed to taste like mango and pineapple. I can take the cap off the liquid. I can definitely taste pineapple and mango. So this is now real. This was a piece of wood that somebody carved with intricate design. I know this is real. Your parents teach you, don't put your finger in that hole because you're going to get shocked. You're going to get hurt. Some kids get curious enough to go, I don't know if mom and dad is real. Oh yeah, that kind of hurt and I almost blacked out. I did that. I made the choice to test the validity of my parents' words. Candle, fire, hot, will burn you. The wax inside that's melting could burn you. How do we know this? Well, either we've been told that or we've tried to touch it and realize, oops. I don't know how many books because I don't count. But every single book that I have, hands down, or gives us knowledge of one form or another. It is up to the individual to decide how that knowledge works, what to use it for, and is it real enough to be considered worthy of our reading. Or even if I read the book and went, I don't know if I can believe this information. I'll just give this book to the next person. Okay? It is widely believed before modern day life occurred and, we got more busy and hustle and bustle and less time to sit back and just listen to the world around us. that it's highly believed that you could hear the voice of God in your head because you've become so relaxed and so calm and so open to the possibilities of getting psychic or whatever you want to call it messages from God. A lot of people go, well, how is that possible? Well, my theory, this is my theory, it is told to us in the Bible, in the New Testament or the Old Testament, when God gave Adam a breath of air. That breath was directly from God, giving Adam a spark of God's essence. Now, I'm not saying that Eve didn't receive the same thing, but they say that women are more intuitive to such phenomenon, or gifts, if you want to say, to know and hear God better than man, as well as the world around them, nature. Now, if the Bible is correct, Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden for a very good period of time with all this wildlife, including predatory animals that would probably do us more harm today because of our arrogance than with Adam and Eve. Why is that? Because God said, you guys cannot eat these two on two legs, but everything else is edible. Don't know. I think because before Adam and Eve realized they were naked and how wrong it might have been in their brain to be naked and not married or whatever, that everybody in the Garden of Eden, all the different animals and whatnot, lived in peace and harmony with man. And I don't mean just men, I mean man and woman. Homo sapiens, humans, whatever you want to call us. It wasn't until the incident with Cain and Abel that nobody knew any evil. And then Cain decided to kill Abel out of jealousy. There's always something or someone that causes the first spark of whatever. Whether it's a spark of genius, whether it's a spark of goodness, whether it's a spark of evil, whatever. There's good and evil in everything around us. Everything. The Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Havanah. It could be used for the wrong purposes. And I see the Bible being used for the wrong purposes a lot lately. I don't know where it says in the Bible, if your brother is doing wrong, beat him over the head with the Bible. And I don't mean literally hitting a person, but literally attacking the person for their beliefs because it does not match theirs. I'm pretty sure the Bible says go gently. I haven't seen that yet except for one person. One person. I'll say that person's name. Mailman. I still call you brother. I will still and always call you brother. Whether you want to take it in a Christian notion or not. You have given me so many beautiful words out of the Bible. You've pointed me towards a lot of beautiful passages out of the Bible. I'm not going to say it changed. You are who you are, and you do your best to live a Christian life. I appreciate that. But on the flip side, Miss Kathy Quick, who jumped her guns and started basically browbeating me, as the term would be, with her beliefs. It's not how you do it, sweetheart. If you want to help remind me of my Christian past, you don't go telling me right off the bat that I'm going to hell. You don't start off with that kind of stuff. You pull passages out of the Bible and you give them to me for research. You let me make my decisions. I've never demanded anybody to do anything of any kind. My faith in Jesus still stands. My method of worshiping Jesus is different. Let's take, for example, I'm sorry, this is going to be long. I'm going to try to end it pretty soon. Let's just take this for example real quick. The Bible says not to have any engraven images. Any, none whatsoever. No engraven images. Yet, why is it more and more, I don't want to say more and more Christians, but more and more times that I've gone to, especially, and this is not just Catholics, but Catholics are known for all their engraven images. Not just Jesus hanging on the cross, which I would accept as a worthy engraven image to hang in your house, because that reminds you of why Jesus, well, it reminds you that Jesus died for you. But then we've got all the people who want to put Mary Magdalene, Jesus' mother, as a yard ornament. Saint Michael, Saint Peter, Saint Paul, all the different images of the different saints, whether they're on big placards for your wall, or statues for a table, or statues to put in front of your house, or on a medallion around your neck. Some cultures would consider all that engraven images. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that most Christians, if they understood, what this hammer meant, or this image of a arrow pointing upright, would say, oh, those are engraven images because they represent non-Christian faith items. Well, okay, I could turn that around and say, well, look at all the different emblems you wear on your neck, which are engraven images to your God. Is that any different than, those who take paganism seriously and wear various emblems or symbols of different pagan entities, deities, whatever you want to call them? How's that different? How is your necklace of St. Peter or St. Paul or St. Michael or the cross around your neck? It's basically the same thing. It's a religious symbol, but it's also an engraven image. So, what's the difference? Explain to me in full detail with biblical information of how the difference is between a pagan symbol around their neck or the engraven images or necklaces you have in your home. The cross, Mary, the different saints. How that's different. Do you pray to those individuals? Because if you do, you're a pagan. If the only image you have in your home is of Jesus and you pray to him, you're a Christian. Think of these things logically. Don't think of them in a religious aspect or anything like that. Think of the logic behind what my words were. Because that's the point. You want to point the finger and go, oh, you're a pagan because you worship all these other deities. Yet you're a Christian and still pray to different biblical characters and not just Jesus. So how does that make you different from a pagan? Because if paganism has to do with worshiping other gods compared to the engraven images of saints and Jesus' mother, what's the difference? The saints and Mary Magdalene, Jesus' mother, they all represent a part of Christianity. Just like the pagan images of whatever god or gods somebody might worship, each god has a different purpose, a different identity, a different reason. Tell me what's the difference? Just because the saints and the mother of Jesus were biblical characters that served an important purpose through the Bible, that almost matches Norse paganism. I want to know what your opinions are. I want to know what you feel and you think when it comes to the differences between all the saints and all the images that are serving purposes for the Christian or Catholic faith compared to the different images or deities that serve pagans. See, I'm not here to ruffle anybody's feathers or anything like that. I'm here to learn what you think is the rhyme or reason between the so-called good of Christianity and the different images, engraven images of the Christian faith compared to the engraven images of a pagan faith. And it does not have to be Norse paganism. There's the different statues of the different gods and goddesses from Greek and Roman mythology. There's the different statues of the Hindu religion. The Buddhists have Buddha. I don't know if they have any other deities besides Buddha. Even the Japanese Shinto religion, which was not a simple religion like, we have this god and this god and this god, but it's a lifestyle. It's training the mind, body, and spirit to be one, to function as one solidified, smooth lifestyle. It was the code of the Japanese samurai. I want to know why people get so up in arms about paganism when there's so many similarities of paganism and especially Catholicism with the different statues and saints and whatnot compared to the different statues and images of gods and goddesses. It's practically the same thing, just one is supposed to be under the guide or diocese of the Catholic faith. Anyhow, I've taken way too long to do this video, and I'm going to actually ask Jerry to help me cut it in half. But I am the same person you guys watched for the last 2+ years. What's different is what I believe in. I'm not shunning Christianity. I'm not shutting off that part of me. You can't. I can't, anyhow. I walked for 20... No, I'll take that back. I walked for 15, almost 16 years of my life, calling myself a Christian, trying to do everything that I believed was part of the Bible's teaching. Yes, from the age of 15 to almost the age of 30, I was devastated, confused, annoyed, angry, misrepresented, misunderstood, told the wrong things, and got involved with Native American shamanism because at the time, because of family members saying we've got Cherokee in our family, which my DNA test did not show any Cherokee, I followed and practiced shamanism. And during that time, I read books and information on all the different religions. And I came to the conclusion that no matter what your label for your religion or your beliefs were or are, practically every religion has a head honcho. We call him God. The different religions from around the world had different names. Krishna, Buddha, I forgot what the Tao deity, or was it Buddha? I don't remember Taoism. Japanese did not have a name for God. Native Americans called him the Great Spirit. Norse pagans call him Odin, the Allfather. Why does every single religion have a head honcho, the father of the other gods and goddesses? The origin story of our world. Every religion has an origin story. Are we the same? Or is it a title or a label that separates us from living in harmony and coexisting? Anyhow, think about what I said. Put your Christianity to the side and just think of the logical rhyme or reason for being here. Scientists say we evolved from apes, and chimpanzees are only one microbe away from being human. Chimpanzees can be taught up to a 4th or 5th grade level of understanding. They have the same basic organs and skeletal structure as a human being. 10 times stronger. Why does it matter the label? What matters is the heart, not the label. Think about that. Until next time, I will see you guys later. You know what to do down below. Have a good day. Bye.